What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another MultiVersus video. Today I want to talk about 7 characters that I would really love to see in MultiVersus, and I think a lot of other people would love to see these characters as well. I've written down some concepts for them and some abilities that I think would fit the MultiVersus universe pretty well and fit into the game. For number 1, I have Bruce Banner / Hulk. Now this is actually 2 characters in one. Think kind of like Samus and Zero Suit Samus if you ever played Super Smash Bros. Basically you would spawn into the game as Bruce Banner and you would have some really basic punching and kicking attacks, sort of similar to Shaggy, and as you hit these attacks you would build up a rage meter. After a certain amount of damage dealt, you would have this rage meter full, and then you could transform into Hulk. This would completely change your move and ability set into basically an entirely new character. I don't know whether or not the Hulk period would last forever until you die, or if there would be a 30-second timer or something before you transform back into Bruce Banner. Maybe there would be after a certain amount of damage you transform back into Bruce Banner. I just think this would be a really cool concept because you would essentially have to learn 2 different characters to play this character effectively, and on top of that you would have to be able to perform well with the Bruce Banner version, which probably wouldn't be very good or else the character would be broken. So you'd have to be able to get enough damage with the weaker Bruce Banner version to be able to transform into Hulk, and then you'd have a period where you're better than the other character and you can kind of run the floor with them. So I think this would be really cool to see a kind of dynamic between this where you're playing around multiple different characters inside of the same character. And as well as that, Hulk is just a really cool concept, and I feel like the dynamic between Bruce Banner and Hulk would fit perfectly into the MultiVersus universe. For number 2, I have the Demogorgon. I've heard a lot of people talking about having 11 from Stranger Things inside of MultiVersus, but personally I think the Demogorgon would be much cooler. Now I'm up to having both obviously, but if I had to choose one, I would think that the Demogorgon would fit really well. Plus I just want to see some more kind of monster characters inside of MultiVersus instead of just human characters. I think that the Demogorgon could have a certain ability that's like a dash forward, similar to if you've played Dead by Daylight. One of the killers in the game is the Demogorgon, and they have a sort of dash ability. Basically you would have a very short charge period and then you would kind of dash at the opponent, similar to Shaggy's kick, how you can go flying across the screen. But if you connected this ability at the end of it, you would grab the opponent and then you would hold them for a brief period of time, similar to Iron Giant, how he can grab opponents. I think this would be really cool dynamic to have where you could dash at them and grab them and use that as a combo starter. But if they dodge out of that dash or manage to get over you or something, then you're kind of left exposed for a second while you recover. I also think that it would be cool to have a sort of bloodlust meter on the Demogorgon, and the more damage that you take, the more that bloodlust meter fills, and as it fills up, you start dealing more damage yourself. So essentially the more damage he takes and the weaker he gets, the better he gets as a character. So it's kind of a high risk, high reward, where in the beginning you're just kind of taking damage to get to a point where you're becoming stronger than the other character. And then maybe once his bloodlust meter reaches a certain amount or fills up entirely, he can transform the stage into an upside down version of the stage. If you guys have seen Stranger Things, you'll know what that means. There'll be some pictures and stuff on screen. I think it'd be pretty cool to be able to transform the stage into this upside down realm, and then maybe have roots that try to grab at the other character if they're too slow, or some other way to kind of debuff the other character and give you the advantage while you're in the upside down. This would probably only last for a short period of time, because if it lasted forever it would be really OP, I think. But yeah, I just think it would be really cool to have a character like the Demogorgon that can charge up an ability that transforms the stage. And like I said, I just think I need more monster characters in the game to keep it interesting. The next character that I want to see in MultiVersus is Harry Potter. Everybody knows what Harry Potter is. It's a super popular series. I think he would fit the mage role perfectly, obviously, since he's a wizard. And I think it would be really cool to have a bunch of abilities centered around spells. So Harry Potter would obviously have a wand, and then there'd be a variety of different spells that he could cast for his heavy attacks, his air heavy attack, his side heavy attack. All of those, or I guess it's called a special attack, not a heavy attack. But all of those different special attacks could correspond to different spells. It would work similar to Velma's megaphone, I imagine, where you kind of aim them. There's a short period where you kind of charge them up and then you would cast the spell. And then there would be a variety of debuffs you could do. Maybe you can light them on fire, or float them up into the air. I just think it would be really cool to have a character that is focused heavily around magic, because even though we have mage characters in the game right now, we don't really have any characters that all of their abilities are actual magic spells. It would be cool to see a recovery ability where he could fly on a broom maybe for his up special. So maybe he summons a broom and then flies up a little bit for a recovery. I think that'd be really cool. I also think it would be really cool to have a passive ability where if you stand still for a period of time, probably somewhere around 3 seconds, it would use the invisibility cloak. This would make him completely invisible until the next time he deals or takes damage. So he could potentially sneak up on the other player while he's invisible, but if the other player guesses where he is and attacks, then obviously he could be hit while he's invisible and it would cancel out the invisibility. I don't think this would be OP because you do have to stand completely still to charge it up, and it would probably have an animation while you're charging it. So it works similar to Shaggy's charge up time before he can use his super OP ability. I just think it'd be super cool to have a character like Harry Potter where all of the abilities revolve around magic and casting spells or using magic abilities and objects. And I just think that he would fit into the MultiVersus universe really well. The next character is kind of similar to Harry Potter in the way that they're also focused around magic, but this one is Raven from Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. She could use her magic to summon punches, kicks, axes, swords, knives, basically anything. If you guys have seen either Teen Titans or Teen Titans Go, you'll know what Raven's abilities are. It's kind of similar to Wanda from the Marvel Universe. She can basically just summon anything with her magic. Her recovery ability could summon that kind of like dark eagle that she uses a lot in the shows, similar to like Tokoyami from My Hero Academia. I also think it could be really cool to have a new debuff ability called nearsighted that makes the character that you're facing unable to see outside a certain range. So their vision would get darker and darker as the radius goes out to a point where they literally can't see anything. So it would be harder for them to react when you push them. I think this would just be a super, super cool dynamic. It wouldn't be OP, I don't think, because they can just react quickly enough if you enter their bubble. I also think Raven would be a more slow character because she's not meant to be like super quick and zapping around. She's kind of meant to be more like deliberate magic character. I can imagine her having like a light attack combo where she punches and then kicks and then like a magic fist comes out to finish off the combo or something. I think that would be really cool. I also think it would be cool to see like a lifesteal ability where you hit them with like a magic grab and then you take a little bit of their health. Maybe you hit them and like deal 10 damage and take 10 damage to heal yourself. Like if you summon a purple magic fist that reaches out and grabs them. There's no current lifesteal abilities in the game, and I feel like that's just kind of a fundamental in a lot of games. And if it had the right amount of cooldown and it was like hard enough to hit, I feel like it would still be balanced. I also think it could be cool to see a kind of portal ability for her where she could place 2 portals and then travel between them, sort of like Bugs Bunny's burrows that she can place on the map, except it wouldn't be underground. It could be anywhere on the map, in the air, on the ground, anywhere. So it would kind of be similar to Steven's walls that he places, but they would act the same as Bugs Bunny's burrows. There's a lot that we could do with Raven inside of the game, and there's a lot of abilities that she could have, basically limitless potential for her, and I just feel like there's so much that they could do with her character. It would really suck to not take advantage of that and put her into the game. Also, I just loved Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go growing up, so I would really love to see Raven inside of MultiVersus. The next character is another show that was a childhood favorite for me, and this would be Gumball Watterson. He could have an ability similar to Velma's cop car where you have to charge it up somehow during the match, but then at the end, I think it'd be really cool if he called his mom and then she would come on stage and kind of chase around the opponent. If you guys have seen The Amazing World of Gumball, you'll know that the mom was like super OP throughout the show every time that there came a part where she would have to like fight or something. So it would be really, really funny, and I would just love to see it if he had an ability where he could like call his mom and have her come onto the stage and fight for you. I think it would have to be similar to Velma's cop car. That's the comparison that I can like think of in my head to make it balanced. I just think this would be super funny and a really cool ability to see inside of MultiVersus. Now his fighting moves would be mostly punches and kicks because there's nothing like magic about him or anything inside of the show, but I do think he could occasionally like maybe stretch out his limbs or have like some quicker cat kind of abilities because he is a cat in the show. Or maybe he could use like propellers or like a paintball gun or something, because there's a few episodes throughout the shows where he'll use various like items or weapons or whatever, so you could incorporate those really easily. I think there's a lot of room to be creative with Gumball, and like I said, I just really want to see the ability where he calls his mom. I just think that would be hilarious. The next character on this list is Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Tell me that it wouldn't be so cool to have all of his different innator machines that he could like use. Like if he could choose from different innator inventions and he could use them inside of the game to have like combat abilities with them. He could also have a variety of like laser guns and plasma guns and space weapons and stuff like that, because he's constantly using things like that inside of the show. I also think it would be really cool if he had a Parry the Platypus on a longer cooldown, sort of like Tom and Jerry, but Tom and Jerry, I feel like that cooldown is way too short. You can just go like pick him up and everything. So it'd be cooler to see like a longer cooldown, and then you could like send out Parry the Platypus to go grab them and hold them in place or something. Or maybe even fight for you, similar to Steven Universe, how he can summon that little bacon guy. But I feel like that's a really like fine line that you can't cross, because it'd be really broken if it was too good. So I think it makes more sense to just have Parry the Platypus go out and like grab them and hold them, or maybe like put them in a small stun, like if Bugs Bunny hits you with the kiss ability, or if Arya hits you with the face ability. Maybe if Parry the Platypus goes and grabs you, you just get stunned. I don't know, I just think it'd be really cool to see a Dr. Doofenshmirtz have an incorporation of Parry the Platypus. He could have a jetpack for recovery. It fits his character perfectly. He uses a jetpack a lot throughout the show. And then I think it'd be cool if he had an ability where when he uses his down special, like if he was to go spike someone off the map, he has like these super robot boots or something to spike them with that are like rocket propelled. I just think there's a lot of room to get creative with Dr. Doofenshmirtz as well, because he's constantly making new inventions inside the show. So to see those inventions brought to life inside of MultiVersus would make a lot of sense. Last but not least on this list, and these are probably the coolest ability set that I've thought of for any of these characters. This character is Mario. I think Mario and MultiVersus would fit perfectly. And for the first ability, I think it would be cool for him to build pipes on the ground that the chomper flowers can come out of. If you've played any Mario game, you've seen the chomper like that comes out of the tubes. So it'd be cool to have a down special ability where Mario could basically build these anywhere on the map, and it would be a map hazard similar to Harley's box, and then just have the chomper flower come in and out of it. And if the other character is over the tube when it comes out, it does damage, or it would like stun them or do knockback something. The next ability would be Bullet Bill on a cooldown. If you've played any Mario Kart games, you've seen the Bullet Bill power up that you can get. I think it would be cool to have like a Bullet Bill projectile that you could throw maybe, or even if you could transform into Bullet Bill as like your side special, maybe similar to like Taz's Tornado or Superman's Flying Grab, where you could actually become Bullet Bill and go forward laterally a certain distance. I think that would be super cool. And then here's the part that I think would just be so cool for Mario. So think about Finn's buy system, how he can go into his shop at any point in the map and buy certain power-ups and abilities. Now consider that on Mario, where you can buy power-ups from the Mario games. For example, you could buy the Ice Flower, and then until you died, you would be able to use ice projectiles. These would apply a stack of Frozen, and after a certain amount of stacks of Frozen, the character would freeze, just like every other character that has freeze abilities in the game. Or you could buy the Fire Flower, and then you would have fireball projectiles you could throw that would leave like flaming puddles on the ground for a certain amount of time, sort of similar to Velma's ability where she can put the acid on the ground. Or you could buy the Propeller Mushroom from the menu, and then it would give you the ability to do a new up recovery move where you could use the propeller hat to like fly around the map. Obviously not like fly around the map like a jetpack or something, but just if you're falling, you could have like a slower fall or a faster movement speed fall from left to right, or you could use it to go up as a recovery tool if you've been like spiked off the map or something like that. The possibilities for this are actually limitless. You could do the star power up or something. Like there's so many cool things that you could do with Mario's power ups, and I think a buy system similar to Finn's would work really well for Mario, where if you're hitting them, you're collecting coins, and then you use those coins that you're collecting to afford different power ups. Anyway, that's going to wrap up all of the 7 characters that I really want to see the most in MultiVersus. If you guys have any ideas for characters and maybe even the ability sets that those characters could come with, feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love to have some conversations about it. I actually do think that some of these will become actual characters, like not because of my video or anything, but I do think that certain characters like Raven or Gumball or like Harry Potter or something definitely have a high probability of being in the game. If you guys have been enjoying the MultiVersus content or enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a sub. And if you want to catch me while I'm live, I've been playing a lot of MultiVersus on stream recently, so my Twitch link will be in the description as well. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.